Listen to me, because I need you to hear this deep in your spirit. People fall for people who listen, not people who nod while they're scrolling through Instagram. Not people who their way through a conversation while they're thinking about what they're going to say next. I'm talking about real listening. That's a skill, a gift. And if you master it, it'll change every relationship in your life. When you listen, you're telling somebody you matter. Your thoughts matter. Your feelings matter. Your story matters. And let me tell you something. In this world, most people are walking around feeling like nobody really sees them. You want to be different. You want to stand out. See her, hear her, feel her words like they're water, and you've been thirsty all day. You know why listening is powerful? Because it's rare. Everybody talks, but only a few people truly hear. When you listen, you're not just picking up words. You're picking up dreams, fears, hopes, and pain. When she tells you something small, like she's stressed about work, don't brush it off. Lean into it. Ask questions. Let her know you care enough to remember. If she told you last week that she's presenting in front of boss, don't just forget it. Bring it up. Hey, how did that presentation go? Do you know what that does? It shows her you're paying attention when 99% of the world isn't. That's how you separate yourself from every other dude she's ever met. And let's be real, listening is an action. It's not passive. It's leaning forward, making eye contact, putting the phone down, giving her the stage. You ever notice how when you really listen to somebody, they start to open up in ways they didn't at first? That's because listening builds trust. And trust is the soil where love, respect, and attraction grow. But you can't fake it. You can't be nodding while thinking about the game later. People can feel when your mind is somewhere else. Listening is full presence, full focus right here, right now. I'm telling you, it's not just about what she's saying. It's about what she's not saying. It's about the pauses, the changes in tone, the moments where her eyes look away. If you're paying attention, those moments will tell you more than her words ever could. And when she feels that, when she knows you're not just hearing her, but you're getting her, that's when the walls come down. That's when she starts to trust you with the real stuff. The stuff she doesn't tell just anybody. Fellas, stop thinking attraction is all about looks or money. You can have the nicest car, the cleanest shoes, the sharpest outfit. But if you can't listen, you're invisible. But if you can listen, if you can make her feel heard, valued, understood, brother, she'll think about you when she wakes up and when she goes to bed. She'll feel connected to you in a way that's rare. And when something is rare, people protect it. They hold on to it. They cherish it. So if you want her to go crazy about you, start with this. Stop talking so much. Start listening with everything you've got. When she tells you a dream, don't just nod, don't just smile and let it pass like she told you what she had for lunch. A dream is sacred. A dream is a piece of her soul she's handing you. And most men have no idea how precious that is. I'm telling you, when she opens up about what she wants to build, who she wants to become, where she wants to go in life, that's not small talk. That's trust. And if you just let it slide, if you don't grab it whole, remember you're throwing away a golden opportunity to connect on the deepest level. See, most people forget. They forget because they weren't really listening in the first place. They were just waiting for their turn to speak. But if you're different, if you hear her dream, you write it on your heart and you carry it with you, she'll notice. And it's not just about noticing. It's about the fact that in a world full of distractions, you remembered something about her. Not about yourself, not about your day, but about her. That's rare. That's special. And it doesn't stop at remembering. You've got to show her that you remember. Weeks later, months later, you bring it up. Hey, how's that project coming along? Or did you ever look into that trip you wanted to take? Those moments hit hard because they tell her you weren't just passing time with her. You were paying attention. You were invested. That investment is the foundation of emotional connection. Let me break it down for you. When you remember her dream, you're telling her without saying it outright, I believe in you. And everybody, I don't care who they are, wants to be around people who believe in them. When you become that person, you're no longer just another guy in her phone contacts. You become someone she trusts with her heart, someone she wants in her corner. Now, here's the thing. It's not about pretending to care. This isn't some trick or manipulation. If you're going to remember her dream, you've got to actually care about it. Ask yourself, am I genuinely interested in what lights her up? If the answer is yes, then it's easy to keep it in your mind. Because when you care, you don't forget. When you care, you find ways to encourage her, to remind her she's capable, to push her when she's doubting herself. And don't underestimate the power of encouragement. If she tells you she wants to start her own business, and you're the one sending her articles, introducing her to people, checking on her progress, you're showing up in a way most people never do. That's impact. That's the kind of presence that sticks. So, fellas, don't just nod when she tells you her dream. Lock it in your memory like it's your own. Bring it up, nurture it, celebrate it. Because when you remember her dream, you're not just remembering words, you're remembering her. And that, my brother, is how you go from just another guy to the one she can't stop thinking about when you follow up weeks later. That's when she realizes you're different. Anybody can listen in the moment, nod their head, and act like they're paying attention. But it takes someone intentional, someone disciplined, to carry that detail weeks into the future and bring it back at the exact right time. Think about it. She's told dozens of people about that book she's been writing, or that certification she's been studying for, or that side hustle she's been building. Most of them smiled, said, that's cool, and moved on with their life. But you circled it in your mind. You treated it like it mattered. You stored it like it was important, because to her, it is important. Now imagine the moment. It's been 2, maybe 3 weeks since you last talked about it. She's been grinding in silence, maybe even doubting herself. And out of nowhere, you send her a message or look her in the eye and say, hey, how's that book coming along? Do you understand the impact of that? You're reminding her of her own dream. You're holding her accountable in the gentlest, most powerful way. You're showing her you're not just passing time. You're keeping track. You're invested. You're rooting for her success. Here's the truth. People remember the ones who remember them. And it's not about grand gestures or expensive gifts. It's about the little moments where you prove that her words stayed with you long after the conversation ended. That's rare. That's magnetic. When you check in weeks later, you're not just making conversation. You're reinforcing that she matters to you even when she's not standing in front of you. You're telling her that her life, her goals, her wins, and even her struggles are important enough for you to hold space for them in your mind. This is how you stand out in a sea of men who ask, when, and you up. This is how you become memorable. You tie yourself to the most meaningful parts of her life. And you do it without forcing, without faking, without rushing. You do it because you genuinely care. You do it because when someone shares their dream, they're sharing a part of themselves. And you respect that. But here's the part most men miss. When you follow up, you can't just be casual about it. You have to be present in the conversation again. If she says, yeah, I've written 2 chapters, don't just say, Ness, ask about them. Ask what's been the hardest part. What's been the most exciting part. Give her the space to share the process. The follow-up is the door. The deep engagement is you walking through it. So understand this. Weeks later is where the real connection is built. That's when she realizes you weren't just a moment in her life. You're a presence. You're someone she can count on to remember, to care, to ask, and to push her toward what she said she wanted. And in a world where most people forget as soon as the conversation ends, that makes you unforgettable. This isn't about small talk. It's about soul talk. You've got to understand the difference. Small talk is light. It's safe. It's easy. It's how's the weather? What's your favorite food? How was your day? And listen, there's nothing wrong with that in the beginning. But if you want to stand out, if you want to make an impression that stays, you've got to move past that surface level and tap into something deeper. Soul talk is when you stop skating on the surface and you start swimming in the deep end of someone's mind and heart. It's where the real connection happens. Soul talk means you're asking questions that make her pause, that make her look up and think before she answers. It's when you're not just trying to fill silence, you're trying to understand her essence, who she is, what shaped her, what she cares about when nobody's watching. It's about finding out what makes her eyes light up, what makes her voice change, what makes her sit forward in her chair because she's excited to tell you. And here's the thing. You can't get to soul talk by rushing. You have to earn it. People don't open their souls to strangers. They open their souls to people who have shown they can be trusted with the truth. That's why listening, remembering, and following up matter. They build the trust that makes soul talk possible. When she feels safe with you, when she feels like you actually care, she'll stop giving you the polished, everything's fine version and start telling you the real stuff. Now, when you get there, when you're in that space, you can't treat it casually. You've got to be fully present. Put the phone away, look in the eye, hear words, but also hear the emotion underneath them. Soul talk isn't just about what's being said. It's about how it's being said. It's about noticing when her voice softens because she's talking about something precious, or when it gets stronger because she's talking about something she believes in with her whole heart. The reason soul talk makes such an impact is because it's rare. Most people's conversations live in the shallow end. They don't take the time to ask or answer the questions that matter. But when you do, you create an experience that's memorable. She walks away feeling lighter, more understood, more seen. And here's the magic. When someone feels seen, they want more of that feeling. They'll keep coming back to the person who gave it to them. So stop settling for small talk when you could be building something real. Ask about her passions, her values, her struggles, her triumphs. Let her see that you're not afraid of depth, that you can handle honesty, that you can sit with vulnerability without flinching. Because when you get to the soul level, attraction stops being about looks or status. It becomes about connection. And connection's the thing that lasts. Women crave someone who gets excited about their excitement. That means when she's talking about something she loves, you can't just sit there with a flat expression like you're hearing the weather report. If her voice goes up, your energy better go up. If her eyes widen, your attention better sharpen. You've got to meet her energy and sometimes even raise it. Because when someone is excited and you mirror that excitement, you're telling them without words, I feel what you feel. Your joy is my joy. That's powerful. That's what makes you magnetic. Think about it. Excitement is contagious. When a kid runs into a room talking about a new toy or an adventure, you don't just say, that's nice. You lean in, you smile, you ask questions. You let yourself get caught up in their world for a moment. That's what you have to do with her. If she's telling you about a trip she wants to take, a class she just signed up for, a project she's building, don't just nod. Ask her where she's going. Ask what she's most looking forward to. Ask how she came up with the idea. Let her talk and feed off her energy like you're both building a fire together. Most men make the mistake of thinking they have to play it cool, like showing too much interest is a weakness. That's wrong. Playing it cool just makes you forgettable. If she's passionate about something and you act like it's no big deal, you're telling her that her happiness isn't important to you. On the other hand, if you light up when she lights up, you're telling her, what matters to you matters to me. That's how you build emotional alignment. And here's the thing, excitement isn't just about words. It's about body language, tone, and presence. If you're sitting back with your arms crossed, staring off to space, she feels that. But if you lean in, nod, smile, throw in a, that's incredible. Or, wow, that's amazing, tell me more. She feels that too, and that's the one she's going to remember. You're showing her she's worth your full attention. But don't fake it. People can smell fake energy from a mile away. If you're genuinely curious and genuinely happy for her, it's going to come out naturally. And if you're not, maybe she's not the right person for you, and that's okay. But if she is, then get involved in her joy. Let yourself be her cheerleader, her fan, her partner in enthusiasm. Because when you amplify her excitement, you're not just celebrating the things she's talking about. You're celebrating her. At the end of the day, everyone wants to feel like their happiness matters to someone else. If you can be the guy who shares in her excitement, who invests in her joy, who fuels her fire instead of ignoring it, you won't just be another man in her life. You'll be the one who makes her feel more alive every time she's around you. If she lights up talking about travel, you better be catching that fire. I'm talking about matching her energy like it's a dance. When she steps forward, you step forward. When she's smiling, why? You're right there smiling with her. Energy is a language. It's how people feel each other without even thinking about it. If her excitement is at a 10 and you're sitting there at a 3, she's going to feel like she's celebrating alone. And nothing kills a vibe faster than feeling like the other person isn't in it with you. Now, mirroring her energy doesn't mean you have to fake who you are. It means you're tuning into her frequency. If she's talking about her dream trip to Greece, don't just say, that's cool. Ask about the island. Ask if she's more excited for the beaches or the food. Let your curiosity be alive. Let your tone, your eyes, your posture show that you're in the moment with her. People remember how you make them feel. And when you mirror someone's excitement, you make them feel validated, understood, and celebrated all at once. The beauty of matching energy is that it creates connection without forcing it. Think about the best conversations you've ever had. They had flow, they had rhythm, they had energy bouncing back and forth. That's what you want. When she throws you energy, you catch it and throw it back even stronger. That exchange creates a feeling of, instead of, man, you. And the more she feels like you're in it together, the more her walls come down. Most men underestimate how much energy matters in attraction. They think it's all about the right words, but if the energy behind those words is flat, it doesn't matter. That sounds amazing, said with no life in your voice is just noise. But that sounds amazing, said with genuine enthusiasm is an invitation. It's like you're stepping in a well for a moment and saying, I want to feel this with you. And here's where the magic happens. When you mirror her excitement and the things she loves, she's going to naturally start associating that positive emotion with you. That's not manipulation. That's human psychology. When someone makes us feel good repeatedly, we want to be around them more. It's that simple. But you've got to be real with it. If travel doesn't excite you, then find the angle that does. Maybe it's the food, the adventure, the history, or the photography. Connect your genuine interest to her so you can be authentically engaged. Because the moment she feels like you're just pretending, the connection starts to crumble. So the next time she lights up about something, whether it's travel, art, music, or some random hobby you've never heard of, catch that fire. Match it, feed it. Let her see that you're not just a spectator in her life, you're a co-pilot. And when she feels like you can match her joy stride for stride, she'll start to imagine what it's like to have you there for the rest of the journey. When you make her think, you stop being background noise in her life and you start becoming a voice that echoes in her mind long after the conversation is over. Most guys are predictable. They stick to the same safe topics. They never challenge her perspective and they never ask the kind of questions that pull her deeper into herself. But when you hit her with something unexpected, something that makes her pause and really consider her answer, you're stepping into rare territory. You're not just entertaining her, you're impacting her. It's not about trying to be clever, playing mind games. It's about sparking genuine reflection. Maybe she's telling you about her career, and you ask, if money wasn't an issue, would you still be doing this? That's not a yes. Oh, no question. That's a doorway into her values, her passions, and maybe even her fears. When you ask questions like that, you're saying, I see you as more than what's on the surface. I'm curious about the real you. And when someone feels that level of curiosity, they lean in, they open up. Making a think also means you're willing to share thoughts that challenge her. If she says something you don't agree with, you don't just nod to keep the peace. You ask why she feels that way, and you listen to understand, not to win an argument. That balance of challenging without attacking creates a dynamic where she feels mentally stimulated, not judged. That's rare, and rare is unforgettable. The truth is, people crave depth, but they're scared to go there with just anyone. If you're the person who can make her explore her own mind without making her feel unsafe, you become someone she seeks out when she wants more than just small talk. You become the person she calls when she's wrestling with a big decision or when she needs a conversation that actually feeds her soul. And here's the secret. When you make her reflect, you're not just getting to know her. You're helping her get to know herself. You're creating moments of self-discovery she may not have had otherwise. That's powerful. That's how you leave a mark without even trying to impress her. She'll walk away thinking, I don't just talk to him, I grow when I talk to him. And once someone associates you with personal growth, they don't forget you. So don't be afraid to go deeper. Don't be afraid to ask the kind of questions that require more than a quick answer. Don't be afraid to share ideas that inspire or make her see something in a new light. Because the man who makes her laugh is fun, but the man who makes her think, that's the man who stays on her mind. And staying on her mind is the first step to staying in her life. When she shares something deep with you, you're holding something fragile in your hands. This isn't just information. It's a piece of her story, a slice of her heart, something she doesn't hand to just anybody. Most people treat those moments carelessly. They change the subject, they laugh it off, or worse, they make it about themselves. But if you want her to trust you, if you want her to feel safe opening up again, you have to treat that moment like it's sacred. Respect means you stay present. You don't check your phone. You don't start thinking about what you're going to say next. You listen, not just with your ears, but with your eyes, with your body language, with your silence. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do in that moment is nothing. Just hold the space, let her speak, and make her feel like what she's saying is the most important thing in the world right now. And here's the thing. Respect also means you don't turn her vulnerability into a punchline. A lot of men do this without even realizing it. She tells them about a painful experience, and because they're uncomfortable with emotion, they crack a joke to break the tension. But when you do that, you're not lightening the moment. You're telling her you can't handle her truth. You're showing her you're not a safe place. And once that safety is gone, it's almost impossible to get it back. Instead, respond in a way that validates her feelings. If she shares something hard, let her know it's okay to feel the way she feels. If she shares a fear, let her know you understand where it's coming from. If she shares a dream, show that you believe in it. Validation doesn't mean you agree with everything she says. It means you acknowledge that her feelings are real and important. When she shares something deep, it's also an invitation to deepen the bond between you. That's your chance to open up and return, not to steal the spotlight, but to show her you're willing to meet her at that level of honesty. Vulnerability invites vulnerability. When she sees that you're not afraid to go there, she'll feel more connected to you because you're both stepping into a space most people avoid. Remember, every deep moment she shares with you is a test, whether she realizes it or not. She's asking herself, can I trust him with the parts of me I don't show everyone? Your reaction will answer that question for her. Handle those moments with care and she'll see you as more than just someone she talks to. You'll become the person she confides in, the person she turns to when she can't go to anyone else. And once you have that place in her life, you're not just in her conversations, you're in her heart. Vulnerability is not weakness. It's one of the strongest tools you have if you know how to use it. Most men think they have to be bulletproof all the time. That showing any cracks in their armor will make them look less attractive. But the truth is, walls keep people out. If you never let her see beyond the polished, confident, I've got it all together version of you, she'll never truly connect with you. She might be impressed. She won't feel close. And closeness is what creates real attraction. When you allow yourself to be vulnerable, you're saying, I trust you with the real me. That's powerful because trust invites trust. If she's always the only one opening up, she'll start to feel exposed and alone in the connection. But when you meet her vulnerability with your own, you're telling her, we're in this together. You can lean on me and I can lean on you. That balance is what turns a conversation into a bond. Now, vulnerability doesn't mean dumping your deepest trauma on her on the first day. It means being willing to share a little more of your truth than you normally would. Maybe it's admitting that you've struggled with something in the past, or that you're nervous about a new challenge in your life, or that you've made mistakes you've learned from. It's letting her see that you're human, not a robot programmed to impress her. The reason vulnerability is so magnetic is because it cuts through the noise. In a world full of people trying to look perfect on social media, perfection feels fake. Real feels refreshing. When you open up about something meaningful, you're giving her a moment of authenticity she doesn't get every day. And when she sees that you're comfortable in your own skin, flaws and all, she'll feel more comfortable in hers. The other side of vulnerability is how you handle hers. If she shares something personal, don't dismiss it, don't judge it, and don't try to fix it right away. Sometimes the most attractive thing you can do in that moment is simply be there with her in it. Let her know you hear her, that you understand, and that it doesn't make you think any less of her. That kind of acceptance is rare, and people hold on to those who give it to them. Here's the truth: attraction that's built only on looks or charm fades fast. But attraction that's built on connection, real, raw, mutual connection, only grows stronger over time. Vulnerability is the bridge that takes you from being someone she enjoys talking to someone she can't imagine not having in her life. And once you've built that bridge, every interaction deepens the connection, and every connection deepens the attraction. You're not just listening to her words to pass the time. You're taking mental notes like an architect collecting blueprints. Every detail she shares, every little preference she mentions, every random comment about something she loves or hates, those are the keys to building moments that make her feel deeply seen and understood. Most guys hear things and let them fly right out of heads. But the man who circles back weeks or months later and uses that information to create a moment, that man stands out. Think about it. She casually tells you one night that she loves a specific kind of chocolate, or that there's this hole-in-the-wall cafe she's been meaning to try, or that she used to watch a certain movie when she was a kid. To most people, it's just conversation. But to you, it's gold. You're locking it away because you know one day you'll use it to put a smile on her face when she least expects it. Maybe you surprise her with that chocolate after a hard day. Maybe you plan a date to that cafe out of the blue. Maybe you find that old movie and watch it with her, letting her relive a memory. That's how you make ordinary details extraordinary. When you operate like this, you're proving that you actually listen, not in the, oh, yeah, cool way, but in the, I was paying attention because you matter way. And here's what most men don't realize: women don't fall for you because you did one big romantic gesture. They fall because of the little moments stacked one after another. That show them you see them and you care. Those blueprints you're collecting, they become your roadmap to making her feel special consistently, not just when it's convenient. And it's not just about gifts or surprises. It's about weaving what you've learned about her into your everyday interactions. If she told you she gets nervous before big presentations, you send her an encouraging message that morning. If she mentions she's been wanting to try a new hobby, you find a way to join her or connect her to someone who can help. If she talks about a dream she has, you check in on her progress because you remember, the thoughtfulness isn't random. It's intentional and it's based on what she's already told you matters to her. Most guys are guessing in the dark. You won't have to because you've been building a mental library since day one. You're not just learning facts, you're learning her. And the more you show her you remember, the more she'll start to believe you're not like everyone else because you're not just gathering information, you're building connection, one remembered detail at a time. And that connection, that's what makes her light up every time she sees you because she knows she's with someone who truly pays attention. When you eventually create a piece of that perfect day for her, it's not just about the act itself. It's about everything it communicates without you having to say a word. It tells her you listened when she spoke. It shows her you cared enough to remember. And it proves that you weren't just nodding along to be polite. You were paying attention because she matters to you. Most men underestimate how deeply meaningful that can be. They think romance has to be some huge, expensive production. But the truth is, the most powerful moments are often the most personal, the ones rooted in things she's already told you are important to her. Maybe she once described her dream morning, waking up without an alarm, sipping coffee on a balcony with sunlight on her face, a certain playlist in the background. Most people would let that pass as small talk. But you store it away, and one day you recreate the exact moment. Maybe not in a luxury resort, but in the most thoughtful way you can manage. You make the coffee exactly how she likes it. You put on that playlist. You find a quiet spot with a view. Suddenly, she's living that dream morning, and she realizes you made it happen because you listened. That's when it hits her. You're not just another guy. You're her guy. The beauty of creating a piece of her perfect day is that it transforms you from someone who just hears her into someone who knows her. And knowing her, really knowing her, is one of the most attractive things you can do. Because in a world where most people are distracted, you've proven you're fully present. That level of presence builds trust, connection, and yes, attraction. Here's the thing. When you give her that moment, you're not just making her happy in the present. You're also planting a memory she'll carry for years. People don't forget the ones who made them feel seen, understood, and valued. Every time she thinks about that perfect moment, she'll think about you. And not just about what you did, but about who you are. And you don't have to recreate the entire perfect and make an impact. Sometimes it's just one element. If she told you she loved the smell of fresh flowers in the morning, bring her flowers and let her wake up to that scent. If she said her perfect evening involves watching the sunset with a blanket and a glass of wine, make that happen on a random Tuesday. The point isn't perfection, it's intention. When you take something she's dreamed about and make it real, even in a small way, you're telling her, your happiness matters to me. And that's rare. That's why it sticks, because it's not about the coffee, the flowers, or the sunset. It's about the man who took the time to create that piece of her perfect day just to see her smile. When you show her you care about her happiness, not just your own, you're shifting the entire dynamic of the relationship. Too many people approach connections from a self-centered place, always asking, what can I get out of this? Instead of, what can I give? But when you're focused on her happiness, she feels that difference instantly. She can tell you're not playing a game. You're not just looking for what benefits you. You're invested in her joy for the sake of her joy. That's rare, and rare is unforgettable. Caring about her happiness means you pay attention to the small things that make her light up. It's not just remembering her favorite drink. It's bringing it to her when she's had a tough day without her having to ask. It's not just asking about her week. It's following up on that thing she was nervous about, showing her that her world matters to you even when you're not in it. It's about wanting to see her smile, even when you're not the direct cause of that smile. This kind of care goes deeper than gestures. It's in how you listen when she talks about something she's passionate about. It's in how you encourage her when she's chasing a goal. It's in how you celebrate her wins without making it about you. And how you stand beside her in the losses without trying to rush her through them. It's being there in ways that tell her, your joy is my joy. And your struggles matter to me too. But here's the key. It's not about giving or losing yourself in the process. It's about a balanced, healthy form of giving where you still take care of yourself, but you're also intentional about adding to her happiness. This kind of energy is magnetic because it makes her feel safe. She knows you're not just here when it's convenient for you. She knows you're not just around for the good times. You're consistent, and consistency is what builds trust. When a woman feels you genuinely care about her happiness, she starts to relax around you in a way she doesn't with most people. She drops her guard. She laughs more easily. She shares more openly. She starts to associate you with feelings of comfort, safety, and positivity. And those are the exact emotions that deepen attachment. The truth is, anyone can say, I care about you. Words are cheap. But when you show her repeatedly, in small ways and big ways, that her happiness matters to you, you become the kind of person she doesn't want to lose, because you're not just in her life for what she gives you. You're in her life because you genuinely want to make it brighter. And that's a level of care that lingers long after the moment is over. Nostalgia is one of the most powerful emotional triggers we have because it connects the present to the most meaningful parts of the past. When you tap into her nostalgia, you're not just having a conversation, you're taking her on an emotional journey. You're waking up feelings that have been sitting quietly in her memory, waiting for the right moment to resurface. Those feelings are powerful because they're tied to experiences, people, and moments that shaped who she is today. And when you can be the person who brings those emotions to life, you're creating a bond that's much deeper than surface level attraction. Nostalgia works because it's not about you, it's about her story. Maybe she tells you about the street she grew up on, the old music her parents played on Saturday mornings, or the games she used to play with her childhood friends. Most people just nod and move on, but you dig deeper. You ask what the street looked like, what the music sounded like, how it made her feel. You're not interrogating her, you're inviting her to relive it. As she talks, her body language changes, her face lights up, and her voice takes on that soft, almost dreamlike tone. In that moment, she's not just telling you about her past, she's feeling it again. And you're the reason why. The beauty of nostalgia is that it doesn't just trigger emotions about the past. It links those emotions to the present moment. If she's telling you about her favorite childhood snack and you show up with it later, you're not just giving her food. You're giving her the feeling of being a kid again. If she talks about a song she hasn't heard in years and you play it for her one night, you're not just playing music. You're giving her the comfort, excitement, or innocence she felt the first time she heard it. You're taking something old and making it new again. That's why nostalgia builds attraction, because attraction isn't just about looks or charm. It's about how someone makes you feel. When you create moments that carry the emotional weight of a treasured memory, you're creating experiences she'll associate with you forever. You become a part of her emotional landscape, not just her day-to-day life. And here's the secret. Nostalgia is personal. You can't fake it. You can't generalize it. You have to listen closely, remember the details, and use them with intention. It's not about trying to be clever. It's about caring enough to turn her memories into shared experiences. When you do that, you're not just another chapter in her story. You're the person who helped her reconnect with some of the best parts of herself. And that's the kind of connection that doesn't fade, because it's not just about who you are now. It's about how you've made her feel across the timeline of her life.